This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, and welcome to the Teen OTA Student Quarterly Virtual Chat, Occupational Therapy Entrepreneurship. My name is Rebecca Whitaker, and I am the Teen OTA Student Involvement Committee Chair, and I will be your moderator for tonight's chat. Our speaker this evening is Dr. Anna Anderson. Anna is the owner and occupational therapist at Comprehensive In-Home Therapy. Anna earned her doctorate in occupational therapy from the University of Tennessee in Chattanooga in 2017. Anna noticed that there was a gap in care between inpatient rehabilitation and home health. Anna decided to create her outpatient therapy business to address the gap and provide high-quality therapy services. Anna has additional training in working with clients with vision loss and has partnered with Mountain View Low Vision to create a model for increasing access to vision rehabilitation. Anna has a passion for providing individualized and quality care. I am going to pass it on to Anna now.
Hello. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, and Rebecca, just let me know if it looks good from your end. I think I have to press present. How does it look? Not right, does it?
Not right. Right before that was right.
Okay, hold on. Okay,
There we
I'm
go.
trying to see if I can make it where I can still see you guys. No, it keeps going away. Let's see. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, well, I won't be able to see you guys. That's okay. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you guys about entrepreneurship. A little bit about
Hey,
me. I know Rebecca told what?
it's looking a little funky. Go back to the original way.
It looks bad? Okay.
Yeah,
All right, let's see
there
here.
we go.
Is it better?
Yes, it's good.
Okay. So a little bit about me. I went to UTC and graduated in 2017. We were the first class of the doctorate program. As soon as I graduated, I went to work at Siskin in inpatient rehab and worked there for a little while until the PRN work dried up and decided I was going to go try something different and do home health. Something I never thought I would do, but I needed a full-time job. It was available, and I was like, all right, let's just see. Let's just see how this goes. So I started my full-time home health job and absolutely loved it. Fell in love with the home health realm. Love being able to work with people in their homes, to see really their real life after being in inpatient rehab. So I love doing that and felt like it was so functional. And I was like, okay, I'm stuck. I'm in home health forever. So then I, worked in home health until I started my business in 2021. I don't know how familiar you guys are with home health. Hey, Rebecca, are these current OT students?
Yes.
Okay. So there was a big payment change in home health called PDGM. I'm not sure if y'all learned about that, but Medicare changed the payment structure. And so it really decreased a lot of the um, payment towards therapy services. So after all the payment changes, therapy really decreased, and we weren't really able to provide the care that I felt like was medically necessary. And so I was like, I gotta do something different. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna start my business. I couldn't figure out, the job that I wanted here in Chattanooga. So I was like, all right, let's just start one. Let me create the ideal job. And it was creating um, that business that bridged that gap between inpatient rehab and home health. So I've been running my business since then. Hired on a physical therapist so that we could have more well-rounded care and do occupational and physical therapy. So I think I hired her on in April. So we've been doing that since then. And then also I'm a mom of two under two. There's my little babies there. So life is crazy. Running a business and being a mom of a little baby and a toddler is crazy. But it's doable. You just have to, keep at it every day. So that's a little bit about me. So what I would like to have you guys understand at the end of my presentation is like the skills that are good for being an entrepreneur and the process of how to actually start your business, and maybe some tips also, and then examples of what some of the current OT entrepreneurs are actually doing. And that's a fun one because there's a lot of really neat stuff that everybody's doing. So what is an entrepreneur? Someone who organizes, manages, and assumes the risk of a business. And I think the risk is kind of a key word there because there is definitely a lot of risk for putting yourself out there and doing something different, doing something kind of out of the box. So I think that's like a super key word for entrepreneur. And there's a lot of different types of entrepreneurs. I think like we are under the specialist category. A builder is someone who's just like gonna build the business to either like sell it or like somebody who's like really looking to just like be that builder, I hate to say. And then there's the opportunist, like somebody who's like, oh, I see that as a really, really good business opportunity. I'm going to get in while it's hot. And then the innovator, someone who comes up with something completely unique and different that really changes things. And then there's like the specialist entrepreneur. And that's like what we see for a lot of like the healthcare providers is like we have a very specific skill set or something that we've learned that we can pass on. And you see that a lot with like doctors, with other therapists, even like I guess you could look at it for like lawyers and things like that too, that start their own businesses, like that very specific skill set, and that's like what you're selling is your skill. So of course I have to put in a funny meme just to make everybody laugh. Of course I can't hear anybody, so anyways, I hope you're laughing. Okay, so to be an entrepreneur, this is kind of what I came up with is what I feel like were skills that would be really helpful for entrepreneurship because it's not just I own a business. Like you have to kind of be forward thinking, be able to think outside the box, think differently. Like it's not just the only OT models that you've seen that are available to you for a career. You have to be really, really resilient because there's a lot of up and downs. And you have to be able to just like keep going through it, like making goals and just sticking with it. So that like is part of that drive. Like you have to like have the drive, you have to have the passion, you have to really want to do it because there's going to be days where you're like, I can't do this. This is so hard. And then there's going to be days and you're like, yes, I've nailed it today. Confidence is a really big one too. And so I know a lot of new grads really struggle with this. And I think if I would have tried to like start a business as a new grad, I think I probably would have struggled with it. And I still struggle with confidence at times. But being confident in your skills because you are the expert. You went to school for this. You are the person that had studied this. You've done internships. You are the expert. So like being confident in that, and that's hard. So just practicing it and realizing that you really, really are an expert and you are going to teach them something and you are going to benefit them. Having really good communication skills, so that goes along with the confidence to me, like being able to communicate what you know and how you can help someone. And again, I still struggle with this one too. Being able to communicate to like a potential patient, like this is exactly what I feel like we could do to help you. To be able to like sell them, to be able to sell them like your plan of care. Like, hey, this is really what I think you could benefit from. And then like you are the expert in that situation. So you're the one coming in going, okay, I think you need this. Like, I'm here to tell you what you need. That's why I'm here. Like, that's why you hired me. Like, I'm here to be like, this is what you need. This is what's going to be good for you. And that was like something that changed in my mind, um, as I've like been doing this on my own. I feel like I've been more confident in telling them what they need. Um, Leadership skills, definitely, especially if you're going to be hiring on employees or contractors, you definitely have to be able to be a good leader for them. Being super organized because you're going to have so much going on. Being able to multitask all of those things, because when you are an entrepreneur or a business owner, you are the marketing department, you are the HR department, you are the business development department, you're also the service provider, you might also be the billing department. You are all of these things at one time, and all of it is happening simultaneously. So you have to be able to coordinate and manage that all at the same time. And so being really organized, being able to multitask is like super key, I think, for being an entrepreneur. Um, and then these two, I feel like holds a lot of people back. So fear, fear of failure, fear of, um, not being able. I know for a lot of people like to make enough money to live off of, and I totally get that. So being able to work through that fear and be brave, because it is hard and there's a lot of fear, and even once you get going, there's still fear. So just being able to work through that. I've had a lot of conversations with people that want to start their own business, want to do like the model that I'm doing, and the fear is really what holds them back. The what ifs. So if you can set yourself up to be feeling secure, to be able to work through that, uh, it'll be worth it. And then know your worth and know your value. So if you have your fees that you set, and you need to know that you're worth it. Like, know that your skills and your education and everything is worth the dollar amount that you put onto it, um, and stick with that. Um, yeah. So those are some of the skills I think are helpful for entrepreneurs. So why did I want to start a business? I wanted to get out of the corporate healthcare model. I felt like there were so many changes, and I touched on this a little bit, with the payment structure, that we just couldn't provide the quality of care that patients deserved. I felt like we were going in and we were trying so hard to help them in such a short amount of time, and we just were spinning our wheels and not getting anywhere. So I really wanted to get out of that model to be able to like build a relationship with my patients, to really get to know them, to build trust with them, because that's huge. Build rapport, so that they feel like I'm on their side, and they feel like I am going to help them and that I really care, because that stuff goes a long way. So that leads into like being able to provide better patient care. If you have more time, you're not rushing because of productivity standards, um, then you can provide better patient care. Having flexibility in scheduling, having flexibility in days on, days off. I, have a family now, and so my son was just about 1 when I started my business, and I wanted to have more time for him. I wanted to be able to have flexibility if he was sick, to be able to, have time off, and not have to ask for permission or make sure I have enough PTO for it. I just have to make sure that my clients are covered and make sure that my patients get the care that they need. And as long as that happens, then, um, I have ultimate flexibility, and then have more time for my family. So I kind of touched on that, and then feel like I'm actually making a difference. So I feel like, um, being in control of the business and being able um, to be the boss, like, you have all of the time and control to be able to make a difference. You get to choose the plan of care that is going to help that patient, and nobody is telling you can't do it. So in home health, a lot of the time we were fighting for like 4 visits for a patient, And one of them is your evaluation, and one of them is your discharge, and then your OT assistant does the two in the middle. And so it was like I feel like we weren't making any sort of difference for the patient. So now I get to make the plan of care that I feel like is appropriate for them, and then also being able to treat the patients at the same time. I feel like you can actually see them changing and see them making a difference. So I love that because there were no other models that I was able to work in the home health realm where you could actually do that. So if you want to start a business, I kind of laid this out in phases. There's, we'll say three very broad phases that could help you get started. So one, like identify and plan. So you're going to identify what the problem is or the area you want to address and plan how to do it. Then you're going to test out your concept, maybe do some market research, maybe talk to some people, maybe talk to your ideal client, and then phase 3 is implement. So we'll go into this a little bit more. But just know that I'm laying it out like a linear process, but it's so not linear. You are going to be probably working on all of it at the same time, or at least phase 1 and 2 at the same time until you really start to implement it. So there's ups and downs. You're going to go forward and backward. You're going to feel crazy, but just know, like the way I'm laying it out, you're probably going to be working on a lot of this at the same time. So I love this little chart here that talks about like the day in the life of an entrepreneur, because I find like this is super true. Like you get in a new referral and it sounds like a perfect patient. You're like super excited, and then you realize their insurance isn't going to cover a lot, so then you have to go over that with them, and you get kind of bummed out, and then maybe you get have a great treatment session, and so then you're back up again, and then one of your client cancels, and then you're sad again. And so you kind of have like the up and down with being an entrepreneur. So starting your business, phase 1, identifying a problem. So what is a problem that you want to solve? Mine was that a gap in care for patients that aren't homebound, that cannot get out to a facility. So I saw that so much in both settings. Inpatient, they're discharging someone's home, and they're like, well, they don't really qualify for home health. Well, they don't really have transportation to get to an outpatient facility, or they really need like more intensive care than what home health can provide. There was nobody providing that. And then from the home health aspect, okay, well, they've kind of maxed out of home health. They need to go to outpatient. Well, they really can't get there. Maybe they have vision loss and they can't drive, and they have no caregivers that can take them. So then what do we do? And in home health, they just discharged, and that was it. And they were done. And they'd say, hey, you should probably go to outpatient. And that was it. There was no follow through. So that was my problem that I noticed. So that's where I wanted to fill that need. So then plan how to solve the problem. Writing out a business plan is super key, and I did this, and it has helped me tremendously because it helps you get all your thoughts down, and it helps you really make sure that you do have a plan of how you're going to get through this, and writing down some goals and doing that research to see, is this really a viable business, and kind of just helping you guide your thoughts. And then seeking out expert mentorship. So this has been crucial for me. I actually have an OT mentor that has her own business that I hired as a mentor. And then in Tennessee, there's a ton of resources for small business owners. So I actually have mentors through the Small Business Development Center, the TSBDC. They are fantastic. You can consult them. You can have as many meetings as you need. And you just pick a counselor, and they're like kind of your go-to person, and they can help you do some market research. They can help you just bounce ideas off if you're like stuck on trying to come up with a business name, or if you're trying to decide something. So I actually use this mentor with the TSBDC when I was kind of in that phase of, okay, am I going to do this? Am I not? I was kind of struggling with the fear, struggling with trying to decide if I was going to go forward. And she really talked to me and helped me through it. And then I decided I was going to go for it. And then Score, it's also a free service, and they have mentors, and you can get like some limited like legal services and like things like that, more consultations. So those have been super helpful for me, and I still meet with my counselor for the TSBDC and probably will continue throughout because there's always going to be something new that pops up. As far as also with like the expert mentorship, like you want to make sure that in areas where you don't have a lot of knowledge, that you just go ahead and hire someone. I made that mistake, especially when it came to like filing my business taxes and stuff. It's like, I'm going to research it and I'm going to do it just to save a little bit of money because when you're a new business, you don't have a ton of startup capital, or at least I didn't because I didn't want to take out any debt to start my business. So I wanted to try to do everything myself. I can do this, I'll do it all. And that was not smart. So hiring somebody to help you with your taxes, or at least consult and point you in the right direction. Having people like that, having a bookkeeper help you get your books in order, having to learn QuickBooks, things like that, has been super, super helpful. And it ends up saving you time and money in the long run. So phase 2. So once you know what you want to do and you kind of think you know how you're going to do it, like talk to your ideal client. Like in your head, come up with that ideal client. Write them down. Write down all of the characteristics of that ideal client. Find somebody that you know that's your ideal client, and then ask them questions. Tell them what you want to do. Ask them what they think. You want to really get a good idea for if this is really going to work. Look at competition. Is anybody out there doing what you're doing or something similar? Look at what they're doing. How's their business set up? Can you interview them? Ask them questions. And then how are you going to be different from them? What sets you apart? Because those are things that are going to help you when you market your business. So market research. And then phase 3, this is where you're going to start to implement your plan. So like deciding your name, deciding your branding. So I've gotten mixed advice on this, so I'll put both of these things out there for you guys. One of my mentors said, just pick a name and go with it. Just pick something and go with it. Don't waste your time on your name. And then my other mentor was like, no, this is your brand. Like you need to make sure this is describing who you are, choosing your colors and all that thing, because it's going to be like your business brand. And so I got kind of both of those pieces of advice. And now, a year and a half in, I kind of wish I would have listened to the, hey, this is your brand. Like, think about your brand. Because being an entrepreneur rather than just a business owner, like I'm thinking about like super long-term goals. Like maybe I don't just want to do my mobile therapy business. Maybe I want to do that and create course content. Maybe I also want to do a YouTube channel. Maybe I want to do a podcast too. And trying to think of like a brand for that, I think would be helpful rather than me just deciding a name for my business just to get started. So I'll put that out there for you guys. Then once you know your business name, you're going to register that with the Secretary of State. And I didn't put this on the slide, but I'm going to say it. Get your website domain. Once you know what your name is going to be, get that domain ASAP because you don't want somebody else to take it. And then you're going to look and make sure you're following all your state regulations, your Practice Act, like if you're doing something that's going to be like treating patients, providing occupational therapy services, you want to make sure that you're going to follow your Practice Act, and then any regulations, like I accept Medicare, so like Medicare regulations, things like that. So really get a good grasp on that. Don't just reach out to Facebook people and get advice from there. Go directly to the source. There's a lot of people that are actually doing coaching, and uh, like their whole business is actually helping with the regulation component, and they are therapists. So find those people, get connected with them, take their courses, really make sure that you know what you're doing. And then my advice is start on a small scale. Somebody else might say something different, but my advice is start on a small scale. And that was what I did. So I was doing PRN still at my home health job while I started this. So I was still working a couple days a week. So I had income, and that helped me reduce the fear, right? So I knew I had some steady income coming in while I started the business. Um, so do that. It helps you, not be so scared, and start as a side hustle and then build it up. A lot of therapists are doing this. Um, and like, you're out there, you're steadily treating clients. You'll probably have clients that are like, oh, I really want to stick with you. And, once they discharge from, wherever you're treating them, um, that would be a great way to then put them on with your services. You don't want to do a conflict of interest. Like, you don't want to use it as a way to get clients. But if that client is really attached to you and they discharge, then you could bring them on with your business as well. So let's see. Okay, so this is fun. This is what people are doing right now. So you have the traditional idea of a business owner, right? So these are people that are doing a mobile clinic or a physical clinic. So one is mine, the mobile Medicare Part B business. And all of these in this first section are all Tennessee OTs. And I have a lot of them from Chattanooga because that's where I am. So I'm sure there's more, and I just don't know who they are. But another one in Chattanooga, Treehouse Therapy, Erin, she has a pediatric clinic, but then she also does nature-based OT programs in the summer. Stellar Therapy is a contracting therapy service, so she started her business um, doing contracts for facilities and staffing them. Integrated Pathways, that's a pediatric clinic that Courtney Pittman does here in Chattanooga as well. Sprocket Therapy, it looked like it was a pediatric clinic in Nashville. And then Smoky Mountain OT was another pediatric clinic. And then one I didn't put on here that I just found out about, there's another OT here in Chattanooga that started a hippotherapy program with a clinic called Can Do Kids. And then she actually bought the practice out, which is amazing to me. And I'm power to you. That's so awesome. So another idea of an example of what you could do with your OT is starting a product-based business. And these are not as common, but there was one in the OT entrepreneurs group. I reached out to them when I was planning this presentation, and I asked them to kind of tell me what everybody was doing. And one woman, she makes the MindStar activities are activities for Alzheimer's and dementia, and so she sells those activities and kits. And then Unbuckle Me, I don't know if y'all remember hearing about this, but there was an OT on Shark Tank, and she made a clip that helps you undo the car seat buckle. And she went on Shark Tank, and it was really her idea and her concept was really, really successful. And then I'm sure y'all have heard of the Occupational Therapy Toolkit from Cheryl Hall. I think most OTs when they come out of school end up buying this because it is really helpful. So think of that as a product. She made a whole book that she can sell PDF or print version. So that I would say is a product too. So more examples. This is a really fun one. I love the content creation. So there's a lot of people out here, creating content, doing all online businesses, and that is something I have a goal for my future. I think that would be so fun to do. My goal would be low vision content, and putting that out there for OTs, PTs, service providers that are going to be in contact with that patient with low vision. So post-stroke is really awesome. Elise, she was actually one of my classmates in OT school. She started a nonprofit organization called Post-Stroke, and they put out content on YouTube, and she shares it across her other platforms as well. She does a lot on Instagram to educate on stroke and stroke recovery, and it's awesome. And so like I don't know how much y'all know about like you. I know y'all know YouTube. You can generate income from. So she generates some income from that, and then they also accept donations and those kind of things. And they'll be doing some more revenue generating for their nonprofit. But it is super awesome. There was another girl I came across in the OT Entrepreneurs Facebook called OT Graphically, and she makes like infographics for OTs. So that's super cool. And then Equip Me OT, if you guys have not followed her on Instagram, y'all need to go follow her on Instagram. She posts the coolest stuff. So her whole thing is about like different pieces of equipment, how you can use it, what's good, what's bad, that kind of thing. And she puts it all out on her platforms. And so she does a lot of Amazon affiliate stuff with that. And she has a ton of followers. And then Seniors Flourish, Mandy Chamberlain. So she has like a whole site with continuing education information. So she created all that content to teach, and hers is all directed towards like geriatric treatment. To teach she mostly targets students, but it's also to practitioners about OT rehab for seniors. And then she also does a podcast too. I've listened to a bunch of her podcasts. They're really interesting. There was another OT doing lactation, and she was making like content for OTs that wanted to do like lactation services. And then I don't know if y'all have heard of Tipa Snow. I learned about her when I was in OT school. She is her brand. When we were talking about branding, Tipa Snow is her brand. So she does the positive approach to care, and she's super successful with it. And she does a lot of content creation. She teaches continuing education programs. She's created a lot of programs to implement at facilities and things like that. Super great. If you don't follow her, you should follow her as well. So then another example of what you could do would be like coaching and mentorship. So I'm going to plug my mentor, Kara, from Next Level OT. Follow her on Facebook. She's got like a big Facebook group. I actually took her business builder program, and it helped me tremendously. I really don't think I would be where I am without her, so I have to do a shameless plug. So she runs a mobile Medicare Part B business, and then she started another business to help OTs start their businesses, among other things that she does. So when you think of like that well-rounded entrepreneur, like usually you're going to see they're doing multiple businesses. They've got multiple revenue streams. They have multiple things going on at one time. So that, if one section of their business kind of slows down or something like that, they've got another revenue stream coming in. Taking OTs online, Raina, she actually helps OTs. She coaches OTs into how to do content creation and get your like online business set up. And then Mind Your OT Business, Laura Park, she has a lot of content about business in general. And that is really helpful because I know in OT school we don't really learn a lot about business, how to be a business owner, what are all the different aspects of running a business. So having a coach like that is great. You're also going to see, like I didn't really put this in here, but there are a lot of OTs out there that are doing like life coaching, personal coaching, that kind of along that like lifestyle coaching realm as well. So a lot of people that are doing their businesses, either online, mobile, whatever it is, coaching, they also have a podcast, and of course all the other social media platforms along with it. So the podcasts are awesome. I've listed some of them out here. Occupied is a really fun one, and then Senior Flourish is really good. These are going to be ways to get like the word out for what you're doing, and then when your podcast also becomes like really successful, you do start to generate some income from that as well. So yeah, there's a lot of OTs doing amazing things out there. So resources, if you guys are looking to start your own business, resources for you if you want to do like the mobile Medicare Part B business like I do. Next Level OT is where you go. Super helpful. If you're not really sure and you want to see more about what other people are doing, because y'all, I just scratched the surface on what OTs are doing, go to the OT Entrepreneurs Facebook group, add in there, and you can see what everybody's doing. It's awesome. It's really inspiring to see like how creative people have gotten. And then the alternative healthcare careers, Mike Chua, he's actually a physical therapist, but he's in Tennessee, in Jackson. He moderates that one, and he's super fun. Y'all follow him on Facebook if you haven't, because he posts all sorts of fun stuff. And he does Jerry Hab, and I love the name Jerry Hab. He's building his brand, y'all. If you want to talk about branding, he's building a brand, the Jerry Hab brand. So that one's fun. And then the TSBDC, Tennessee Small Business Development Center, they can help guide you, help you do market research, help you, even just if you need someone to bounce ideas off of and you don't know who to bounce them off of, they're great. SCORE, I cannot remember what SCORE stands for. They're another one. And then Uncaged Clinician, that's more geared towards physical therapists, but they still have some great stuff in there. Follow them as well. Those are all some great resources for you. And of course, I had to put one more meme in at the end. And a little quote about being scared. It's okay to be scared. You're doing something not a lot of people are doing. Like, there's going to be fear associated with it. Just work through it, and it'll be so worth it in the long run. So that's all I've put together for y'all. Definitely open for question and answers. And y'all, I'm a mom of a 2-month-old. I don't sleep a lot, so I apologize if something I said doesn't make sense. So please ask me questions, and I'll clarify. Back to you, Rebecca. Maybe. Oh, there she is. Okay. You are muted. I cannot hear you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Anna, for that awesome presentation. That was really good. I really enjoyed learning about all those resources and kind of seeing what everyone else is doing. It just seems really cool and really opens up your mind to what is even out there for more possibilities. If you guys have any questions at this time, you may put it in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and ask. I'll give just like a minute or two just to see if anyone has any questions. Hey, Anna, Lincoln in the chat said, can you reshare the Tennessee Gov resources again?
Yes. If I can figure out how to type it in the chat box, I'll do that. Let's see. Oh, there's a chat box. Okay, let me see if I can get a link and pop it in the chat box for you.
Perfect.
Oh, I can't believe I talked for 43 minutes.
Hey, Hannah. I actually
Anything.
have a question.
Yes.
So I was actually wondering, I've been thinking about doing a home modification type of business. We're kind of going in and kind of seeing how people can actually age in place.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a friend that owns a construction business that said he would love to help me out with that. Do you know of any therapists that kind of are in that type of field?
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna type this in the chat box for you. Sue Doyle, she's amazing. Go in Facebook and there's home modifications. Let me get the title right. There's a whole group on Facebook of people doing this. Okay, so you need to get in there. Um, there's a really awesome system that I use when I do these because that is something that I have marketed for myself as well, where it has this beautiful evaluation that you can go in and plug your info in, and then it's a link that you can send to the patient, the family, whoever wants to see it. And it has like your whole eval, all of your recommendations for your home modifications. Um, it's amazing. Okay, let me see if I can find those two things and I'm going to pop them in there for you. But yes, great business idea. I love it. Um, I'm going to type in Home for Life because that's the program that I use. Home for Life.
Cool.
Hey,
Yeah,
can you
because
guys see my screen still?
I'm sorry.
Can you guys see my screen still?
No, it's on my screen.
Oh, it's yours. Okay.
What were you going to say?
Who, me?
No, Jared. I think it was his name.
Okay. Okay, there's the Home for Life Designs link, and that's for the system where you can go and put your evaluations in there. Super cool. And then I'll pop in that link for the Facebook too, as soon as I get the title for that. Where are you at, Jared?
I live in Memphis, Tennessee,
Sweet.
and I'm actually in the Belmont MSOT like bridge program, and I'm in my second year.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've been practicing as a coda for almost 5 years.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay, I found that home modifications group, so I'm gonna link that for you. Add in there. Okay. Are y'all, Rebecca, has everybody seen these things in the chat box? Can you see it? Okay.
Yeah, everyone can if they click on the chat box.
Okay, awesome. I'm just making sure it's going through.
If anyone is watching later on in a recording, she just put in Sue Doyle and Home for Life Design, DC.com. And that is for home modifications. And there is a Facebook group called Home Modifications, Home Safety and Modifications.
Yes. Yes. And there's a ton of OTs doing it. There's 936 members, it looks like. And they have a bunch of fun stuff that they post about the home modifications. And if you're interested, I'd be happy to pull up the home modifications eval and show you guys what that looks like. I don't know how many people are interested. I can show you one that I have. It's super pretty.
Does anyone else have any other questions?
I have a question for y'all. Like, has anybody else thought? Like, I know Jared said he's thought about doing the home modifications business. Has anyone else had thoughts about, what they want to do when they graduate? I just love talking to students.
So yeah, I've thought about starting a nonprofit organization for pediatric families with kids with disabilities, as well as adult populations with disabilities, because this population kind of gets pushed on the back burner a little bit and forgotten about. And so this kind of like bridges the gap of like giving them resources, providing them with like academic help, as well as like vocational skills, things like that.
I love that. So reach out to Elise Newland and she can help be a mentor for you about like how to start the nonprofit, like where to go for those resources. I love that. That's super awesome.
Thank you.
Anyone else know what they're going to do when they graduate? Anybody want to do low vision? Holler at me. I also take students.
Okay, last call for questions. I'm going to give about 30 more seconds, and then we're going to wrap it up. Okay, if you have any questions that pop up as we talk about our announcements, feel free to drop it in the chat.